All right, bam, we're live. Okay, let's get everybody set up. Welcome. Share the screen. Welcome, guys. All right, let's break this down. So today is day 92 of 100 of the AI prompt challenge, right? The Remodeler's Rulebook. And we're taking every phase of what it takes to run a successful remodeling business, breaking it down over the course of 100 days, and then assigning a prompt that you can use in an AI agent to help you succeed with your business. All right, so let's get started. Welcome. Talking about remodeling. Let us know where you're from. So here we go. Social media, power of video. Mostly everyone is understanding now how we have transitioned. Video is the way to go, right? So much so that now it's even fake video. It's AI generated video. So when it comes to helping get your message across about your advertising company, hey there, guys, welcome. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. We're talking about the transition with advertising and getting your remodeling business ready for the homeowner when you land new prospects, and how a lot of people are pre-selling with ads, video that they send out to the homeowner before they even meet with them. All right, so let's break this down. In remodeling, there is a huge trust issue. Hey there, Jay. Yeah, good to see you, brother. Been a couple of days. Welcome. All right. Yes, sir. Good to see you here. Hey, we're just getting started, so you got good timing. This one will be interesting, for sure. All right. You're gonna have to you have to let me know if you have anything exciting to share about any of your projects first. Anything anything good happening? You just staying busy? What's going on down there? Did you get that you wrapped up that job with the permit at this point? Is that all good? Welcome, folks. If you're new, just let me know what part of the country you're from. You can't read your UD90. Everything like everything all right? You personal? You got some personal family struggles? Oh, that's no good. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what it is, but that's challenging, I guess. Yeah. Oh, oh, sorry. I didn't know. Sorry to hear that something happened with your father. Man, that sucks. Damn. Yeah, okay. Yeah, life can take a turn like that, right? One day you guys are in high gear, and the next day everybody's trying to recover. So, you and your spouse doing okay? Hmm. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I hear you. Yeah, it can. So my folks are a little older as well, and 2 or 3 years ago, between the two of them, something was happening at different times. It were a rough 2 years. They're doing better now, but there were a couple moments where, yeah, you get those calls either late at night, whatever, and the next thing you know, one of your parents or somebody's in the hospital, and it's scary. So glad to. It sounds like you're getting on the good side of that experience, so that's thankful. Good. All right. Well, thank you for sharing, and we'll keep those thoughts and prayers and stuff. Yeah, and you know what? At this point, whatever the permit. Thank you for sharing. We just want to make sure your dad's going to be all right. Yeah, man. I tell you, it's I think there's a real problem right now in many states or counties or jurisdictions. Somewhere along the lines, I think a lot of these permit departments have gotten confused about why they exist and what they're really supposed to do. When you break it down in theory, a permit department is supposed to be there so that there's at least some oversight that things are done properly. That's it. You come in, you apply for the permit, you pay for the permit, you get the work inspected. But what has happened is the people that work at the permit department, it's like they took a job because they wanted to work for a state or government agency, and they're like, I don't really ever want to work. I just want to be given benefits and job security, and then nothing gets completed. You apply in my area, you to get a permit for building an accessory structure can take 8 months. It's absolutely insane. Uh, I actually had to go in recently and we had a few issues with something, and I had to, like, instead of doing it online, I had to go to the permit department. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not used to having people come in anymore because they try to have everything done online. The amount of people that I interrupted and they had to put their phone down because they were on their Instagram account or watching somebody else's video on Instagram. I'm like, what has happened here? Nobody's like, and everybody was frustrated that, like, oh my God, there's somebody at the counter. Somebody actually wants help here. It was interesting. So yeah, but what I'm getting at is I think the agencies have lost their way. It's like really they should just be there to serve and say, hey, oh, you want a permit? Let's help you get through that as soon as possible. Because yeah, it's an inconvenience. It shouldn't be a thing where it takes weeks or months to get through the process. I don't know. It's all backwards if you ask me. All right, I'll stop that. And for those of you, this isn't all about permits tonight, believe me, because hopefully you have a good process where you're from. So, all right, let's go to the main topic. So simple, it's difficult. Jay, we should spray paint that at the permit office. Yes, it makes no sense. But you know what it is? Real quick, it's a side note. I think a lot of people, when they get a job like that, they have to like justify it somehow. And if you make the process difficult, then the people depend on you. And you know what I'm saying? Like, whereas if we made it so easy, then maybe all these jobs aren't even necessary. They really shouldn't be. I don't know. There's more people in the permit office not helping doing permits, but they work there. I don't get it. There'll be like 7 people in the building department, but none of them can, they're all doing something other than helping you get a permit. All right, here we go. So today we're talking about videos, and this is a pretty powerful thing. Jan, you might really grasp onto this for your business, especially. Uh, if you have a basic website and a simple sales process that you'll consider, and you might already have this, I don't know, I haven't been on your website, but when a homeowner is trying to figure out who they're going to hire, One of the best things you can have is a quick, short video that introduces them to your company, right? You can talk about what you value as a business, why your business is in existence, your story. You can share with someone. Um, hey, we're here because we noticed that this or that wasn't happening right, and we wanted to be a provider of this service. So, right. So the way my story would be is I share with people when it comes to construction. I didn't originally think I would be a remodeling business owner. I liked having projects completed for property that I was buying, and it was such a struggle to hire any remodeling person to do work that I was like, this is ridiculous. It should not be this hard. So let me start my own remodeling business. I'll hire many of these talented workers, and we will run a very efficient, professional remodeling business that gives a good experience to the homeowner. And I based it off of, if you call me, I will call you back. If you email me, I will email you back. If you text me, I will text you back. Does that sound good to you? Perfect. And something as simple as that would bring in business. And then I would take it a step further. Hey, if we set up an appointment, I'm going to show up on time. How about that? And I'll come prepared. And in this frame of mind, right, where I'm not like my judgment isn't clouded because I'm on some sort of medications, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Like I'll show up in a frame of reference, a state of mind where I can have a good, clear communication with you. And just doing those things led me to getting a lot of work. So when I say all that, like that could be your story to why you got in. Whatever your story is, you should put that into a short 30-second video so homeowners can get familiar with you and they know you. Yeah, I think it makes sense to you. And here's what happens. Think about it from the homeowner's perspective. They're inviting a person into their house. That's why like home services and remodeling is a little bit different than other businesses, because there's a level of trust. And the homeowner's a little nervous about, especially if they have families and moms that have young kids, they don't want to invite like the devil into their house. I'm using that as a frame of reference, but they want to make sure that they're not endangering their family by hiring some company to send a bunch of yahoos over there to do the work. And one of the best ways that you can build trust, other than just telling them that you're trustworthy, is by showing them in a video. And where you say, hey, I'm Mike, I'm the owner of Mike's Remodeling. We got started 5 years ago. This is what we do. This is why we do it. And this is how we do it. And we'd love to talk to you if that sounds good to you. Just something short, sweet like that. Maybe if you have, like down the road, John, when you have some technicians, what I set up is you have a little introductory video for like your lead people, one or two of them. It's like, hey, welcome, this is Joey. And Joey's one of our master technicians. Joey's been in the industry for 10 years. He's been working for us for 2 now, or whatever. And when Joey's not working in plumbing, he likes to fish with his friends, whatever. You just a quick little thing, and they get to see what Joey looks like, and it puts them at a sense of peace and calm. Now, some people might watch the video and go, I don't want to hire Joey. That's fine. But that you're also helping weed out people really quick. So that's the concept. All right, let me break it down for you. You have to be honest. So a lot of people still aren't sure. Homeowners' biggest fear, right, is hiring wrong. It's not hiring correctly. It's that they'll make a mistake. So people that are invisible are hard to judge. And a remodeler or a home service provider that puts a forward face, has something out there, the homeowner feels safe. That's why some of these big companies land jobs all day long at really high inflated prices, because the homeowner feels like they're a trustworthy company. And they may not be trustworthy, but they've done their research and they put out the video that helps the homeowner feel like they're trustworthy. Do you see the psychology? Like, so people trust what they see, and they've trusted even more if they've seen it before. So if you have a video or two on your website, when you actually show up, they start to feel like they already know you. And it breaks down that level of angst and anxiety that they might be feeling. and they trust your brand a little bit more because they feel like you're more legitimate because you have a video. All right. So there's this thing. You don't have to trust me for it. It's called the mere exposure effect. And this was discovered by Stanford researchers back in like the late 60s. And when someone has seen your face and heard your voice previously, it automatically desensitizes them and they start to feel safer around you. Okay? As long as you're not coming at them in a threatening way. So if you have a pleasant demeanor in your videos, you're going to disarm the average person right off the bat. And that way, then when you go to meet them at the house, they feel more comfortable, just like that. It's that simple. Okay. So Harvard has done a lot of reviews and studies on this, and they have found this was and they did this again back in 2022. So it's been done multiple times over the years, but even recently, clients are 74% more likely to accept a proposal when they've seen a short video from their provider before the pitch was ever even put out there. So think about this for a minute. What I like to do is when a homeowner reaches out to us, right away we want to get their email or phone number so that we can either text or email them a video that's an explainer. And the reason I want that out there is so that they can hear it and not be stuck in the moment. That way, when I go for my first appointment, if I'm trying to land the project, they already feel more comfortable and it makes it much easier because now it's as if it's a second appointment. Whereas all of my competition, they're showing up for the first time and still trying to build trust. So most likely they're not going to be able to close the project on the first appointment. But for me, it's already like a second appointment, right? So that's just like a little trick that a lot of companies use is a way to speed up the process. And they just do it by putting a video out there or a couple videos. So there's brands that have mastered this. The Dollar Shave Club, Window World. There's the ClickFunnels owner, Russell Brunson, does this. And they have literally, these brands have exploded because they use a real human and they put them on camera and they just let the person talk and be real. You don't have to be fancy. You don't even have to be funny. You don't have to sing, dance. You just be yourself. All right. So, and now today with AI, you can get lots of help. So what we refer this to is the pre-sale. All right. Hey there, Justin. Good to see you. Justin, you're going to want to go back and watch the first few minutes of this one to catch up. All right. We'll talk. So pre-selling doesn't mean selling before the consult. What I'm really talking about is you're educating and positioning and you're filtering. So the biggest thing for me as a remodeler, I can only be in one place at one time doing one thing well, right? And there are only so many hours in a day. There's only so many days in a week, and there's only so many weeks in a year. Hence, I can only work for so many remodelers at any given period of time. So I have to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm working for the best homeowner, rather, that I can at that time. And if I'm working with terrible homeowners, they are preventing me from working with good ones. So you need a good filtering system, right? One way you do that's over the phone. The other way you do that is with some videos so that the homeowner self-filters themselves out. If somebody thinks that I'm a jerk, they don't like my personality, I remind them if somebody would beat them up or had a car accident, right? Because like there's things about me that will trigger somebody else. It has nothing to do with me personally, but like there's another person in the world that looks like me or talks like me or sounds like me, and maybe that rubs them the wrong way. So the last thing I want to do is waste time trying to talk to a person who already dislikes me from the get-go. I don't have any personal problem with them not liking me. It's just better that we just part ways as quickly as possible, right? So that's why you want to have that video to get out there, whoever your brand voice is, whoever's going to be talking in your company. All right. So some of the things that your pre-sale video is going to do, you want to answer. A lot of you guys, when you're getting phone calls, and both Goat just and Jay Allen, you both can relate to this. Whoever's answering your phone, most likely you're getting a lot of the same phone calls, questions over and over again. So that should be your first video, is frequently asked questions. Like I have, it's frequently asked questions to the remodeler. Like, how many bids should I get? Why do I not want to go with the cheapest? How long is it going to take to get my project started? And you can have a really short little video on your website, or one that you email to the prospect when they reach out to you, that goes over these simple little frequently asked questions. All right. This helps reduce skepticism about your price, your timeline, your process. And also for us, we pre-frame that we do a design session first. Yes. So, and this is all good stuff there. Your the people that call you, just start being aware of all the questions that you get asked. And over time, you'll be like, I know my top 5 questions, right? And you just put those down so that you weed that out or help that. And you're just speeding up the process, right? You don't have time to be answering when you're getting busy, you don't have all day to be doing all this over the phone. So, and also if you want to go forward with like paid site visits or measure fees, whatever, you can start having a video where you explain why you do it, how it's both a benefit to the homeowner, right? That can be in your video. It helps you position yourself, and then you build that emotional connection. Yeah, so there's actually really good ones out there already, and they're only going to get better. So I would tell you right now, I might still go with a live person, Goat. What worked really well for me is we found a company in the Midwest where the women talked a little bit slower, and they had a little bit like a Southern drawl. It was very hospitable, is the way I would explain it. They were very sweet. They were trained. So you will write up a scope. Well, I don't call it a scope, but like a script of how you want them to answer the phone for you, right? And just by having a real person answer your phone when you're busy, I can't tell you how many more jobs you will get. Because right now, if somebody is shopping and they don't know who to hire, and they call you and they get your voicemail, a lot of them aren't going to leave a message, and they're just going to go right to the next person. Yeah, 100% have a female. You want a female to answer the phone. They're non-threatening. They're much more empathetic. They're much more understanding. Females actually listen to the person on the other end of the phone instead of trying to tell them what to do. And that's why you want a woman answering your phones as much as possible. You don't want to be answering the phone anymore. Now, you're going to say to me, Mike, I'm the expert. No, that's not the point. When the person calls initially, they're trying to express interest, and the person answering the phone is just going to help be a filter. Get name, get number, what's the project that you're looking to have done, what's your time frame, do you have a budget already, have you met with anybody? They're going to ask like 3 or 4 simple questions, and then boom, then you call back as the authority. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, 100% female, and 100%, if you can find a good AI agent service, I would go with it. My concern is it might not be there 100%, whereas I know for sure you can find a live person to answer your phones. Now, the way we would do it is we would just switch it on at different times during the day. You can answer the phone. I'm not saying you can't, but so I had my ex-wife, she mainly was in the office answering the phones during the day. But if she needed to run errands or go out and do something or needed a break, we would just flip it over to the answering service. So hopefully that helps. So, all right, let me jump back over here. Understand this, that all the homeowners out there, they're watching somebody's content. They're watching a YouTube video on how to do something. They're looking at somebody else's social media content. So if you have nothing, if you have no videos where you or whoever you're designating in your company to be your spokesperson talks about your company, I would say you're starting to put yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage, okay? So because other people are doing it, and think about yourself. You like to watch videos. We all do. And we like personable people. Excuse me. All right. So here's a couple steps, and then we'll get through this real quick. How do you choose like a video topic, right? It's a good question. All right. So for us, it's why do we charge for our designs and why you'll thank us later, right? I'm letting the homeowner know this is why we charge and this is why you're going to love us. I'm going to talk about how we prevent remodeling surprises. That'll be a video. I'm going to say, this is what our clients say about us after the job ends, right? Because that's what homeowners also worried about. What's it going to be like? How is it going to be to work with this company? Another one is, I would talk about this, Justin, for you. This is the way we respect your home. Here is our dust protocol. Um, this is our job site daily setup and dust control process, something like that, right? And Jayon, like you could put some, this is how we protect your prized possession. You know, like, hey, so plumbing can be a messy job sometimes. And this is how we ensure that when we leave, the place is spotless. You know, it's like we were never there. The amount of homeowners that are more concerned about you messing up their place, it's insane, right? You can talk about doing a walkthrough. Hey guys, this is what to expect. Is your toilet backed up? Do you need a plumber to come out and plunge it? Okay, well, here's what you can expect. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to give us a call. We're going to set up the appointment. We're going to come out, and it's going to take us about this long because this is what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You walk them through the process. And then another good video is explaining to people the number one way to get a job done right. So if you want to sell a lot of holiday lighting projects, you should have a video that says, here's how to get your holiday lighting project done right the first time. You know, something like that. And you just do a real quick video. It doesn't have to have a ton of detail. It's just something is better than nothing. All right. You can do face-to-face videos, right? Like me, I'm talking to you guys. You can do a voiceover. You could do a time lapse. There's different ways to do the video. All right. I was thinking about doing a tip of the day or something like that. Yes, and if you're going to do something like that, always frame it from you don't want to be like a remodeling expert to your peers, like other guys in the trades. You want to come at it from the homeowner, like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, do you need a gate repaired? Well, these are the things that go into that. Or you want a water feature like in your backyard? Here's how to go about getting that done properly the first time. These are the things to take into consideration, right? Make it so that the benefit is to the homeowner who is ultimately your customer, if that makes sense. All right. So I think all this, you guys are picking all this up. Let's see. Yeah, I appreciate. And if there's anybody new, I'm not sure if there is, just let us know where you're from. Let's see. One thing that you'll start finding if you do start putting out some videos and explainers, when homeowners call, they're going to say, hey, we saw your video and we liked this, and that's why we're calling. You'll be shocked at how many people will start saying that to you. And then that's a good way for you to, if you're not, hopefully you're doing this, Jayon, and you should start doing this. Somewhere you have a spreadsheet, like a Google sheet, And every time somebody calls, you take down their name, their phone number, their email, because you're going to be building a CRM, and you ask them, how did you hear about us, right? It's because you want to start tracking all the ways that people are finding you so that down the road, when you want to start launching into advertising campaigns, you're going to know how to best go about doing all that kind of stuff. Boom, there you go. So this is good insight for you, Goat. Like, it's letting you know that people are seeing your videos, and there's something, they like your personality, like something about you in the video. Yeah, like, now think about that statement that that lady said. She saw your video, liked it so much, whatever you were sharing, that she was like, that's who I want to hire. That right there is like, you're echoing exactly what I wanted to say in this 12-minute video, and you did it in 5 seconds. That's the power of these videos. They're just crazy. They're crazy effective. Yes, and this is a good point. See, she is validating the experience that all these studies are telling you, is that when somebody sees something that they like, but they still don't know you that well and trust you 100%, they have, in order to satisfy that curiosity in the back of their mind, they have to do something. They're going to look you up. And as long as everything looks congruent, then they're like, I can trust this guy. And now you're seeing how it all works together, right? The little ad works, the Facebook page, your website, right? And that the job is getting sold without you even having to sell it. It was already sold. You just had to fulfill. Yep, Jayon, you get it. Yeah. Yeah, it should make you feel good. Like, it lets you know that what you're doing is working, and you just have to keep doing it. Like, that's all, just every day, just more of it. And it's only going to compound and build on itself, and you'll just refine it a little bit here, you'll tweak it a little bit there. But and here's the beauty of all this. Whatever each of your services, there are people out there, you're solving a problem for them. And there's people have problems with their houses and they need somebody. So if you can make it easy for them to find you, so great job. What was the work that you did for her, Goat? What did you end up doing? Boom. Nice. That's awesome. I mean, that could be a really good video for you to do as well. Yeah. Hey, tired of the way your kitchen looks? Want a little upgrade? We, in the matter of a couple hours, we could be in, be out. 51 pull handles is a good amount. Yeah. I think a large kitchen, to put it in perspective, John, if somebody's doing a large kitchen with an island and two, let's say an L-shaped kitchen with a third wall, like maybe a media area, I mean, like, we've done like 70 in the past, but very few of them would have 70. Like, I've had 75 cabinet door faces and stuff like that. So 51 is a good sized kitchen. Absolutely. Yes, this batch job tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. I don't. If you have your if you can set up like your phone, or if you have like an old GoPro, whatever, something that you can set up every now and then, just capture a little video. It's always good to have it. They call that B-roll. You probably familiar. Yeah. All right, 2 bathrooms and a lot. Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot. That's a great job. Person has some money and they're happy to have you come make the house look great for them. So yeah, yeah, very cool. Yeah, it will help. It, you don't have to have it on the whole time. It's really good to get as much as you can. Try to always get a before video. Try to at least, if nothing else, get a still shot of a couple walls from a couple angles. Get a little video where you pan the room real quick. And then midday or midway through the job, get another video where you show the progress. And then when you're wrapped up the job, the same thing and try to get them from similar angles, and do the same thing. If you can just do that, that makes a big difference. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. These are all the things. And you just do them one at a time. It all makes a difference. But getting a few good before and afters for remodeling, it's really important. The other day I talked about the transformation story. I don't think you were on that one, where what you're gonna see, especially if your goal is to get into like some higher end, upper, like more kitchens, more baths, like that one project you were looking at, homeowners really need to see the transformation process that you provide. They need to see the day one, what the house looked like for the current homeowner. And they go, yeah, that kitchen's pretty crappy. Mine's bad too. And then they need to see like a little bit of the clip of you doing some demo, a little bit of a clip of you patching up some holes in the wall, whatever. And then they need to see the after. And that's how it makes the transformation real. And then in their mind, they go, huh, well, he did that for them. I guess he could do that for me. And that's where the connection starts to happen. When you say program, are you saying to edit the videos? You want them to go out and take the before? You want are you so help me understand. Yeah, so uh, I might not be understand. I think I'm understanding your question. Here's the thing: if I can show you a couple of the softwares that I use. Look, I am not a video expert by any means, and if I can edit them, if you can shoot the video, I'm pretty sure you could edit it. But at the same time, hear me on this: you don't have to. There are people overseas that will edit your videos for just a few dollars. You just have to get a way of getting the video clip to them. There's a lot of people that do this service and one of the tricks that I incorporate a lot is you'll consider getting an intern. You'll go to the local community college in your area, or to the local, if there's any local colleges, and you'll go to somebody in the media department and you'll say, hey, my name is so and so, and this is my company, and I'm doing an intern position. These are unpaid positions, and we're looking for someone that can help us with some video editing. And most likely there'll be someone in the school that will work for you for like 6 months for free. Now, it might only be like 5 hours a week. So maybe they edit like maybe 3 videos for you, something like that. Maybe 5 if you make them short. They might be able to do. But what I'm getting at is that what you're trying to figure out, how to get the video edited and then onto your platform so that you're not doing the editing? Yeah. But and then there's also companies that'll come out and do the video if that's what if you just want to hire the whole thing out like locally, that's 100% possible as well. You could look at contacting a couple people that do real estate videos, um, and they might be willing to do some video for you. You get them to show up the day before your first day on the job, and then they come back at maybe midway and then come at the end. They get 3 clips, they put it together and make a nice before after transformation video for you. So you could totally hire a company to do that as well, I'm fairly certain. Um, and a lot of these companies that do listing videos for realtors, I'm sure wouldn't have any problem doing that for you. I've even I've even had high school. So this is what's, I don't know what your area is like, but near me, we have a lot of tech programs. So one of the things a lot of our high schools are doing, they have like multimedia programs. So I'll give you an example. We had a young girl that helped us for a little bit. She was in high school, and her high school had a program where they were teaching the kids how to do multimedia. They were teaching them advertising, like how to edit videos, and they were doing it for social media. They were doing YouTube videos, TikTok, Instagram, and these kids needed outside projects to work on. So again, if you just you'd have to go to a couple local high schools that have these media programs, introduce yourself, and you might be able to get a high school student to work. Now you're going to have to get their parents to sign. It gets a little more complicated when the kid's under 18 because there's some liability issues. So you're just going to I can help you out with the paperwork on that, but you could have them. They'll do an internship with you, and it's they're doing it to get the experience, and you're getting the service for free. It takes some coaching with the high school kids, so you have to be a little more hands-on, but they're very eager, and most of these kids have grown up with phones in their, like they were born with the phone, so they know how to do a lot of this shit second nature. It's like no big deal. Yeah, yeah. Hey there, Eric. Welcome. Good to see you. An internship with my tech school for a while. Yeah, exactly. So what we found with this one local school, the tech ed, the media teacher, if you make a good relationship with them, they will actually recommend you to other students that are looking to get experience. And they'll reach out to you and say, hey, do you have an internship program position available so that we could have one of our kids get a little more experience this year? Okay. Yep. So they're out there. So wherever you went, see if they have one for media, people that are helping. You could get some help with your video editing. And well, hey, Eric, welcome. So we have Eric here. He's a digital media person. He can help as well. He can get you set up if you want to hire more like an agency fashion. So there's a lot of options if you want to hire it out as well. So, what other questions do we have tonight? All right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to see what his schedule is. Absolutely. And maybe you have a conversation with him. Ask him how can you help him make it work better too for both of you. Very good. Well, thanks for being here. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're crushing it this week. So that's awesome. Who else do we have? All right. Yeah, man. Very good. Appreciate you jumping in. And I saw that you replied on that one video, so you're going to take one of those slots that I put out there for the strategy plan. So that's awesome. We'll get you set up with that as well. Yeah, man. You bet. You're going to be crushing. You'll be starting off 2026 like in an unbelievable fashion. So it's pretty exciting. And Jayon, I don't know if you saw that video, but I put out a video just a few hours ago about how I'm putting out go. I haven't been. So the place that the mail where my office is, I might be there tomorrow. I don't know if the package has arrived yet or not. So I'm not. I wasn't at that office today. Okay, but if you think it's arrived, I can. Let me see if I can swing by there tomorrow. Okay. It didn't show up as of Saturday. I was there Saturday and I did not receive it then. So I will check. All right. So Jay Allen, if you're interested, um, I'm doing like 30-minute audits. We can look at your business and we can see what you've been doing and how it's been working. And then we can talk about what direction you're looking to go and come up with some sort of a strategy for you. All right. We can see what, try to uncover any opportunities and see what's been working really well for you. So basically just do like a review or an analysis. I mean, the good thing for you just finished 1 year in business. So you'll have some good data that we could look at or talk about, and you could have some good insight for saying, this is where I want to go for the upcoming year. And then we could map out a little bit of a game plan. That's all free. It's all for you. All right. No charge for it. Just a 30-minute strategy call to kind of help get some clarity for what direction you want to go for the upcoming year. That's the point or the whole rationale behind the process. So I've got I think 7 of those sessions left. So yeah, just all you gotta do if you're interested, just send me a DM and we'll get you a link and you can get on a call. And the other thing is, if you want to have it with if your spouse is involved in the business, we could do a Zoom call where all 3 of us are on. It's up to you. Okay, you can involve whoever you want in the process. Exactly. Yeah, and that's the whole point. Like for a lot of guys right now, um, maybe not as much for you because you're doing a lot of emergency service work, but especially more the guys that are doing remodeling. This time of year is really rough. Like once Thanksgiving hits, a lot of guys don't have much work at all between Thanksgiving and Christmas because so many homeowners just don't have time to have. They just can't have their house being torn apart right now. So this can be a really good time of year to start putting together your plan and making some adjustments if necessary. Yeah. So, and hopefully, you might have a little bit of downtime, a couple of days because of the holidays, and that gives you some time to start thinking about how you're going to start implementing. I mean, you know the saying, if you keep doing what you did, you're always going to get the results you have. The only way we get new and improve is by putting together a better plan. And it helps to have somebody to talk it through with, right? That's what I do. I've got to talk and get it out of my head and get some strategy and then figure out a game plan, because sometimes it just gets too overwhelming. You got, there's so many moving parts and pieces. So it's nice to talk it through with somebody who doesn't have the same emotional connection and can look back and go, "Whoa, what do you do? Why are you trying to do that? No, no, let's simplify this. Let's focus on that. Like, does that make sense?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, that's fine." Right? So, all right. Samuel, welcome. Exactly. I'm gonna tell you right now, man, as as much as I like to think that I understand what I'm doing, there's like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes you'll sit down and somebody will look at your business plan and be like, "What? Why were you why were you doing it that way? Like, what were you thinking?" Because sometimes we're so in the weeds doing what we're doing, that you lose sight of some. Anyway, it's always worked for me. I was very fortunate. I mean, I've shared my story, I think, a couple times, how when I first got into this business, I saw how hard the remodeling business was. And I recognized right away that there's some of these companies that were just crushing it. They all were in groups. They used to call them round tables. And these guys would meet and talk to other people from across the country, and they would all share. Like, the guy in Maryland would be talking to the guy in Texas, and they would talk to a guy in Arizona, and they would talk to a guy down in Florida, and they would all talk about their business, and they would share, like, this is what we're finding working, that's not doing so good. And those guys, that group of them, man, all 4 and 5 of them, they would accelerate their business like crazy because they were learning from each other. All right, Samuel, what are you asking? So, Samuel, there's a lot of other good question. There's a lot of other questions to answer as well. Like, what's your product? What's your service? How long have you been in business? Do you know what your overhead is? Um, and how much money do you want to make? You know, and then how good is your sales skills? Yeah. So, like, what's your specialty? What niche? What do you do? So, what I can tell you, Samuel, is the ins- the insurance company, if you do remodeling, they tell you to add 10% profit, 10% overhead. And I would tell you, you'll go out of business if that's all you do. Is that what you are? Are you a remodeling contractor? What part of the country are you, Sammy, what part of the country are you located in? All right. When you say the bathroom, what is that? What do you mean the cost? Is that is that because it's going to take you 100 hours and the materials are 5 grand and you've added up that it cost you're going to pay your guy $50 an hour? Like, what do you mean it's going to cost? What's in the cost? Are you including any of your like, are you licensed, insured? Are you including those costs in that 90? Did you divide that out? So, like, for instance, what a lot of companies will do is they'll take their operating costs, what it costs them to be in business, vehicle insurance, vehicle maintenance, um, business insurance, licensing fees, any personal development that you're doing for your company, the cost of your internet or cell phone, right? You put all these things, and then so once you know what that costs for the year, let's say it's $10,000, you divide that by how many days are you working. So now you have a daily rate for what your overhead is. So some people are adding that in there. And Samuel, let me know, how long have you been in business? Yeah, I might have lost you. I don't know if Samuel was even a real person or if he was a homeowner. Wait a minute. Okay, so Sam, I'm on the East Coast in Maryland. So if you've been in business 10 years, um, you're the homeowner and you're the contractor. I don't even. I'm only asking because I'm confused. If you've been in business, so have you ever studied like markup, margin, profit? You know the differences? Okay. So what is your like current? What do you been what for the last few years? What have you been charging for your margin or your markup? Like how do you go about it? So because I could give you my overhead, my markup, but that wouldn't work because yours could be more, less. At the end of the day, okay, all right. So what I'm that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. 70 a day for an hour, I'm sorry, 70 an hour for help. That that is you might want to raise that a little bit. I think that's a little low. That's just for me. I don't know what part of the country you're in. That could be a factor, but I think with most guys nowadays in today's market, I think 75 is probably the lowest you're going to see. I think you're seeing technicians like even 150 an hour is what people are billing out. So unless it's just, I mean, so that might be on the 70 could definitely be on the low end. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. So what we tend to do is we take our labor burden, right? So if you're paying the guy 35, you're adding all the extra things in there. You come up with your burden, right? So it's, let's just say the guy is going to be like 50. I would look at things more of a percentage. Um, and a simple way to probably look at this is to take all of your labor and all of your materials, right? And then a lot of times you got to double it, right? I mean, that's a simple way to look at it. The other way is what what is your overhead, right? Like when you get your taxes done at the end of the year, we figure out what your overhead is. What is it costing you per day so that you can stay in business for the upcoming year? And when I say per day, that's per working day, not 365. It's how many days a year do you work on average as a business, right? So you might work like 45 weeks out of the year, you might be working. So we take that total cost of what it's going to cost to run your business, and then we look at 45 weeks, and then we break that down by the number of days. Yeah, you could be on the edge. A lot of guys. I mean, look, hey, please hear me. There's no judgment on my end. Like, you get to run your business. That's the beauty of being a business owner in America. You get to run it however you want. You get to make up the numbers, charge whatever you want. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you hired me to do your windows, I'm not even gonna consider what my profit. I'm gonna sell it for what I can get in the marketplace, which is exceptionally higher than any of my margins ever need to be for windows. Right? In my marketplace, a top window company is getting $2,000 an opening, and that window might cost me $400. That's installed. Maybe 600 if I buy it with like special gas and triple paned. So some of it has to do with knowing your market as well. Um, there's some products or services where I'm not competing on price. I'm competing on service and value, right? And giving that homeowner different peace of mind, comfort. So, my margin's way high on some things, and my margin might be a little bit lower on others. That's been how I've approached it. Some people will have a set margin. It's the same across the board. Like, they're going to take their labor cost, they're going to take their material cost, and they're going to multiply it by a 1.75 all day long, and that's the price they're selling the job at. I have I don't know if I can share this. Let me see. I don't know if you've ever used one of these before. It might be backwards, but I can show it to you. So basically what that is that gives you your markups based off of how much money you want to make, right? The percentages. And what it breaks down for you is, let's say that your margin that you want to make is, if you want a 50% margin, then you need to mark up 100%. Hey, good question. It's going to be hard to say what your Andersons are going to cost you. I'm a certified Anderson installer, so I can't say that my cost and your costs are 100% going to be the same. So, and if you like Anderson, definitely reach out to them about getting into their program. It's amazing. All you have to do is pay for yourself to get out to their headquarters, and they'll train you, and you can become a certified installer for them. They'll list you on their website. Anderson's like the best probably window company in America, in my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion. That's what's great about it. I don't think you can beat Anderson on their quality and their customer service. They'll tour you through their factory, and when you see how well their windows are made, um, and it's an American company, so that, like, for some people that's important, for some people it's not. I use that as a selling point, you know. Um, in my area, that seems to be important for a lot of people. That's not the case all across the country. So anyway, does that answer your question? It's going to be all over the place. There's, it's going to be more than 200 and maybe less than 2,000. Yeah. So But to get a 50% margin, you would use a multiplier of 2. You would double it, okay? And that gets you the 100% markup. So not sure if that's answering all of your question. I can share this example. Are you still on here, or did we lose you? Samuel, are you still here? Um, I share this example with a lot of people, and I'll read it real quickly. I want to show you. This is how a lot of guys mess up their numbers. It's very simple. Let's say you estimate a job, and the project's going to cost $2,000, right? $1,000 material, $1,000 labor. Super simple. And if you knew that your company overhead was like 32%, most guys would add 32% to the number, right? So they would, and that would make the cost of the client 2,640, right? But what if you also wanted to make sure that you're earning like another 10%, for then you're still only at 2,904. Now follow me here. That shows job costs are 58%. Okay, so overhead's 32, profit is 10. So that means they're using a 1.72 markup. But if you just take the $2,000 and you multiply it by 1.72, that gives you a selling price of $3,448. So that's what you really need to charge. Okay, so it's just the way that you're doing the math that messes a lot of people up. It gets complicated. I do a whole thing on margin, markup, and profit, and you really have to sit down, and I have to put the numbers up on a board so people can see it. And then usually I ask you to pull out a pad and paper and you start writing the numbers down, because when you start doing your own math, then I think it makes sense. Because it's one thing from when I start, a lot of people, when you just talk numbers, their mind starts getting crazy. If you didn't learn a disciplined way of figuring out numbers as a kid, for a lot of adults, they just don't have the patience for it. So the easiest thing I can say is mathematically, markup is always a larger number when compared to gross margin. So hopefully that helps. All right, might have lost some people on the math part. I get it. It's a lot. All right. Any other questions? I think that's about everything I had for tonight. Jay Allen, do you use markup and margin, or do you just try to set your prices based off of what you think you can sell the job for in your area? How do you go about it? Because some of my projects, yeah, that's so see, I hope many people can understand how smart Jay Allen is. He understands that you have to multiply things out to make money. Yeah. Yep. And the minute you start discounting that, oh, just 25% on material. Okay. It's a little lower than I would have expected, but yeah. There's a really cool exercise I've done at times where and you can do this yourself. If you like math, baseline. Okay, that makes sense. If you want to put this up on, like if you have a whiteboard or a piece of paper, let's say a job's, you're supposed to sell it for 5,000, but you discount it $500 because you're desperate. You want to land the job. You're like, working's better than not working. For you to then go, let's say the next job that you're supposed to sell with a normal markup and profit is supposed to be 5,000. If you now have to sell that job for 5,500 to make up for how much you just lost on the previous job that you discounted 500. And that's when people start recognizing how hard it can be. Yeah, 50% on materials. That I would think so. I mean, and when it comes to remodeling, you might even be able to get a little higher for sure, when you're incorporating the whole project as a sense. It's so funny to talk about markup and margin. Everybody gets really touchy on the numbers. They're convinced that their number's their number. And it's amazing how much of a difference there is in what people charge. Some people are crushing it, like multiplying everything by a huge factor, and other people are barely marking up anything at all. So it all works. It just depends, I think, more on your market, your ability, the type of customer you go after. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you being on here tonight. I think we've covered everything unless anybody has any specific questions. I can read over the AI prompt real quick if you're looking for that. So if you want to do these explainer videos, you can have your AI agent. You can tell it to act as like your remodeling video content strategist. And you tell it, hey, I want to pre-sell my services with short form. And you can ask it to give you 5 high trust factor video topics that'll help filter and warm up leads. You can ask it to write 30-second scripts for each one, whether you want to do the talking head, voiceover, direct to camera. You can ask it to recommend 3 other AI tools that you might need help with. If you need assistance doing the videos, or you don't want to be the spokesperson, you want it to be an AI image, whatever, you can suggest where to put those on your website or in your social media or in your email. And then you can ask it to give you 2 bonus captions, like what is the call to action that you want for the homeowner, and you can make that specific to like the Facebook ads or the Instagram ads. So anyway, you can put all that into AI and it'll spit out to you your game plan, and it'll say this is how you want to do your explainer video, and here's what the script will be, here's what you say. It'll even give you prompts for here's what should be in the background if you want that visual cues. It gets pretty impressive if you want it. All right. That's everything I've got for tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. Jay Allen, again, sorry. Hopefully things are going to be all right with you. Is your dad staying with you while this happens, or is he at his own place? In the hospital. And then can he be on his own after that, or would he need additional care? Okay, so he lives. Fair enough. Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm sure he's appreciative of that, and yeah, we're pulling for him. So I hope it sounds like he's on the road to recovery. So that's good news. Awesome. All right. Well, get some sleep, and glad your dad will be back with you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome night, and yeah, have a great day. We'll catch you guys. So tomorrow, later is day 93 of this challenge, and going to help you figure out your voice so that you can position yourself as the local expert. So if any homeowner in your area is looking for your service, they'll be like, Jay Allen's the man. That company is the best. We have to hire them. They are the local expert. So it all starts with you telling them. All right. Have a good night. Thanks, Jay Allen. Good to see everybody else. Take care.